Have I got a great show for you today. We're going to talk to a guy who was touring the world with his band, and then all of a sudden, like a flip of the light switch, his world changed. You're going to meet Guy Brogna from All Music, the owner of All Music, and also one of the band members of Scatterbrain. So all your Scatterbrain fans, you got to check out. I had a wonderful conversation with Guy. We talked about Long Island music, the Long Island community, the relaunch of his shop, All Music in Plainview in the center of the island, and they have a great future, a new stage. We really get into it. Come, check it out. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited about today's episode. I'm with Guy from All Music here in Plainview. He's not only been a musician who's played around the world, but he's the proprietor of a really great music shop. Welcome to the Long Island Sound, Guy. Good to
Thanks,
have you.
Steve.
So give us a little background. I mean, you're a headbanger, right? From, is that
Well,
insulting?
no, that's the type of music I played. Yeah, not that I listened to, but that's what I played. Yeah, more of the started out as a thrash band and went into more of like a funk hard rock.
When did you first, now, I know at the store here, besides having great instruments, you do music lessons as well. Were you brought up taking lessons early, or how did the bug get in under your skin, so to speak?
I guess like everyone else, you start out listening to music as a young kid. Started with the Beatles, and then Kiss started, and then that was like the big deal when I was young, and really got me interested in music. Never really took lessons, did some guitar lessons when I was, like about a preteen, but I was more involved in sports at the time. It wasn't until I was in like junior high, my friends were in a band, and I would go to their rehearsals to watch them. And, I would go and hang out, and then one day the bass player didn't show up. So they said, "Hey, you think you can do this? Maybe can you follow these 4 notes for, Eric Clapton's Cocaine?" And I did, and back then I had the big pork chops, leather vest, and they were like, "He looks cool. Let's get him in the band." So I had to learn all these songs, and like 3 weeks later, we were playing like bars around town, and that's how I got started. And then from there, I just kept going.
Do you still play guitar too? Or do you?
I really wasn't. I really barely knew guitar even back then. A handful of chords. Paranoid stuff like that. That was it. I did it for a very short time. But once I got that bug seeing, the 4 kids in the band playing, and now I could be playing with them. We're playing the bars at 16, 17 years old. Where, I couldn't wait to do it.
I tell you, back in the day, and this is what, in the 80s, 70s?
This is late 70s, yeah.
Late 70s. There's so many great bars around Long Island. I mean, every bar seemed to have live music. Maybe that's
Sure.
why they're hitting up on 16-year-olds to play. There was Neptune's. There was
Yeah, played there.
there was, what was the place along the beach? The OBI, multiple OBIs,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was great. So when did you get? What was your big break?
So it was a band called Ludicrous. It was a hardcore band. I was actually the guitar player. We were in another local band together, a band, this girl who's still around, TC Cross.
Okay.
So we were playing in that band together. While we were playing in that band, he answered a Village Voice ad for a hardcore guitar player. He joined the band, started playing with them, and they started working on their second album. And he would bring the tapes to me and show me, and I'd be like, "What the hell is this?" I never heard of hardcore. I didn't know anything about it. It just sounded like noise to me,
Okay.
And they were out playing, so he was doing his thing, I was doing mine. And he would keep in touch with me, and then he kept saying, "I don't think the bass player is going to be with us long." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm interested." And then finally I got a call, and he's like, "Look, we got a tour of Europe, and we really need someone."
Oh my
I was
God.
like, "All right, I'm in."
Convinced me, right?
Yeah, and I had to learn the 2 albums worth of material. I think 2 months later, we went on that tour. I mean, we were like 22, not even. I think 22, and that's what started it. And
How did you? What was the first country that you played in Europe? And how did you find the audience?
very first show was Holland.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
we went all around the country. We were Holland, England, France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, probably a couple others I'm forgetting.
Yeah, it's amazing to me, the export of music that came from the UK here to the United States and vice versa. All the blues players that went to play over in the UK
Mhm.
and Europe and still welcome. They really love American music,
Yeah. And that music that we were doing, it's still big there. The bands that we were touring with back then still out there playing. Like we can get on a plane and go there and play a month of shows right now if we wanted to. It's still going on.
So Ludicrous, is that
Yep.
Ludicrous did not Ludicrous the rapper, but
Right, right.
you guys were first. And what was the breakup? How did that end, I guess?
So we were on a local label. It was Relativity Records, which had the subsidiary, which was called Combat Core.
Okay.
It was more of the hardcore stuff. And so when I got into the band, it was for the second album of Ludicrous. So we were touring for that album. And as that was winding down, we started writing. And now with me in the band and me and the guitar player now kind of being it together, the other influences started coming in, like Zappa, like Southern rock, like all the different things, Mahavishnu Orchestra, all the different things that we were into started changing the writing a little bit. And then we brought in a new drummer, who was also one of the Hicksville guys that we went to high school with.
Uh-huh.
And then everything just started just changing naturally. The writing was different. So we, as it was changing, it wasn't really hardcore anymore. So the record label was starting a new branch
Okay.
called In Effect. And we were one of the first bands on there with 24/7 Spies. And there was always that stigma about the name Ludicrous. They thought we were some like devil worshipping band.
Right.
So we said it's probably a good idea to change the name too. So that we had this big contest with the
Radio station?
record
Company. Okay.
to do the names, and the names that were coming through were like hilarious. Some I can't even repeat. And one night we were just rehearsing, and we started playing. We started playing the Jeff Beck song. We're like, oh, what song is that? Scatterbrain.
There you
And
go.
that was it. It kind of matched the band, and we took off with that. And then basically, college radio picked up on one of our songs, and it just
Yeah,
took off.
it's great. College radio still, I mean, I think that's where music discovery is really still embedded in college radio, where, right now we're having the algorithm telling us what we like and what to listen
Yeah.
to. I'm kind of against that. I want to make my own choices, and yeah, do I like Jackson Browne? Do I like Neil Young? Yeah, but I want to hear some new stuff. That's what's kind of driven, the Long Island Sound podcast, is that music discovery. And what a better place than to be in a music instrument store to discover the up and coming town. I mean, you're starting with the small seeds of kids. I overheard you talking before about your students that you see now that are working in studios and different stuff like that. Hey, I can't overlook Frank Zappa and the influence of Frank. Me personally, when I was in college, I had a crazy group of guys next door, and Joe's Garage was playing, and I was like, what the hell is that? And I'm telling you, it got under my skin. I just really loved it. So tell me about what you like about Zappa and the influence on you.
The first time I ever heard him, I was like 11 years old. An older brother of my friends was playing Zoot Lores, and I just heard a couple of the tunes, and it was so different from anything I heard. And I just ran out and bought the album. And then, I started listening to that. And then, I'm like, well, I got to get this other album. Then it was Roxy and Elsewhere. And, of course, the first thing about Zappa is, the humor in it.
Right.
But at the same time, even as a young kid, the complexity of music always stuck out to me. And I was really drawn to all that. And you would listen to those albums, and the musicianship was just insane. I mean, those bands were incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, the use of the xylophone and
Underwood. I mean, just all of them. George Duke. I mean, George Duke here is this really famous jazz cat that when he was asked to play with Frank, the jazz community was like, down on him for it.
What are you doing?
And George Duke had such a high respect for him as he started playing, and how, Frank wrote, how he was disciplined with his, the rehearsals, and you see a lot of guys, Jean-Luc Ponty, all these guys that had played with him. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that was,
between the humor and the just the musicianship and
they call him a musical genius,
sure,
and to me, it's almost reminiscent of Rush,
yeah,
an undefined genre per se. Maybe he didn't, hit the top 40, I think it was Valley Girls, maybe
yeah, yeah.
with
I
this.
think Valley Girl was his most popular song ever.
Right, and it's
You
it's
know,
such a whack song, but I compare him to Rush as far as you can't define him, which I think is
yeah,
really good. But, hey, I want you to tell me the story about the hit, was it "Don't Call Me Dude," or
yeah.
you tell me about that.
So that's the one that broke us. Yeah, it's
Broke you in a good way.
yeah, and yeah, the singer who we say singer, he was more of a rapper kind of singer, but he almost like Zappa had that humor about it,
Okay.
and would could always like interweave the political and the funny stuff in there. And it was one night at a bar, he I think it was he called someone dude or whatever it was, and the guy's like, "Don't call me dude," and that was it. So we just decided to write the song about that. And of course, you never think, oh, this is the song that's going to break us. This is the song that's going to make us,
Right.
go. We didn't think twice about it. We were just still in that kind of small band and, do our shows here and there. And it's funny the album comes out and we go out on the road and we're in a van, we would go to Queens, pick up the 15 passenger van, stuff all the stuff in it. And we had a tour of like 3 months booked. I guess it was me, and the first show was in PA. We played to 12 people, and then the next show was like maybe 25. But like 3 weeks into it, College Radio picked up on the song.
Oh.
Next thing you know, the record label was like, "We're sending out a bus to take you around." Now everything just changed like overnight. So now we're playing big clubs. We're in a tour bus, and
Wow.
then MTV picked up on it. Those are the MTV days when they were playing videos.
Right.
And so we were on Headbangers Ball all the time.
So you did a music video of it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
alright, so I'm gonna interrupt. So we're gonna put a link. That's gotta be up somewhere, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna put a link down in the description. And while you're at it, I want you to comment, if you know Guy, if you know this music, and I want to hear your comments and tell me some of the hidden stories that
Yeah, watch
Guy
those
will
hidden
tell us.
stories.
Thank God there weren't too many video cameras around
Yeah, yeah.
back in the day. Hey, let's just take a quick break. And when we come back, I really want to talk about, we spoke about genres and how genres changed and how that really changed things for you and the band. Hey, everybody, we'll be right back. Hey, everybody, we're back with Guy Brogna. It's really been a pleasure for me. I'm getting such an education on the way things were, the way things are. So you relayed a story to me behind the scenes about you're touring around the world. You were in, I think, Australia. Things were like really great. You were picked up by Electra.
Yes, we went to Electra.
Take the story from there and tell us about
Yeah,
it.
so after the first album, which did really well, the guys from Electra started following us around. And it was funny because we'd be on the road and they would show up at a gig and they'd come on the tour bus and they'd be bringing like a case of liquor and, "Oh, we'll take you out to dinner," and, basically buttering us up to sign with Electra. It doesn't take much to butter a band up to sign with the biggest
About
label in the world.
24-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So we were like, although, you always heard that, you go to a big label and they're just going to like shelve you and all that. So we ended up signing with them. And so we went and did the second record. And after it was done, planned a tour, got ready to go on the tour. And literally we're out on the road starting the tour and Nirvana hits.
Oh.
And then Pearl Jam comes out. And it was like immediate. All of a sudden, like we were playing to all of these places that we would go back to,
Right.
that we were selling out. And now kids would come up to us and go, "We didn't even know you were playing." The tour support wasn't there because they were too busy looking for the next,
Next
yeah,
best great
right.
thing. Yeah. Yep. Next
So,
moneymaker.
and we were out, doing videos at the time for the new album. And the guys from Pearl Jam were there because they were using the same videographer and they were just getting to that bigger point. So it was just weird whole thing going on. We were actually playing with bands when we were playing. The drummer from Leonard Skinner saw us in Florida.
All right.
He comes up to us, during a break before an encore, and the owner introduces him to us, and we're like, we grew up on Skinner, man. This is freaking Artemis Pyle. And man, I never seen anything like you guys. This is great. Can I come up and play? We're like, no shit.
Yeah.
We can come up. Yeah, let's go. We played like an hour doing Skinner tunes, and it was like the coolest thing. But it was just this whole weird thing. Even though we were like this metal funk, humorous band, we were kind of still in with that hair metal thing.
Right. The Twisted
Yeah.
Sister, the Bowie thing.
We were hanging out with guys from Warrant, Poison, all this different, even though that wasn't, it was just kind of all
Right. So
lumped.
did you open up with those guys?
No, it's funny enough that we were always like the headliner. The only shows we did opening up, we did 2 shows in Italy with the Ramones, and then we did the show in Germany with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Man.
And those were amazing. Like when you said Australia, when we went to Australia, Don't Call Me Dude was a top 10 pop chart hit in Australia. We were actually on the charts with Madonna, Prince, it was insane, and it was a different world over there. But everything changed, like I was saying. Once
Like
Nirvana and that hit, it was an about face, and we were left, in the middle of the tour, just kind of hanging.
It's like getting left by your best girlfriend.
Yeah. So we were, we came off the road from that and just trying to figure out what we're doing, fighting with the label, blah, blah, blah. Time goes on and we're looking for a new label. Then one of the guitar players wants to leave. He leaves. We decide we're still going to do it. Then there was too much time in between and kind of lost some momentum. Yeah. We started touring again for the next album. And I think, everyone was getting a little done. And then the singer was like, I think I don't want to do it. And then, then he's like, what now?
One of the words that jumped out from you talking about your band was humor. Tell me about some of the things you guys, because you did some wacky stuff on stage.
Yeah. I don't know. What can you say? Is it podcast? You can say whatever.
You can get. I just check a box that says explicit. That's all.
Probably get too explicit.
They get disappointed if you don't say fuck or shit.
Yeah. I never know, but I mean, we one of the things that we did Frank Zappa tune, Titties and Beer, and I would come out. I was the devil. The singer would come out dressed in a nun's outfit.
Oh, nice.
We had squirting tits and other things that we did throughout. Dresses. I mean, the shit we used to do was pretty.
He's just kind of watching himself because you must have children now, right?
Yeah. They know what the stupidity that we did, and I got 3 girls. But it was a show. It's similar to what Frank would do. We didn't just go up there and play. And the thing is, the stuff that we did was pretty complicated music, but it was like Frank, the whole tongue in cheek, don't take yourself too seriously.
That's great.
And have a good time. So people that might not even like the music would like the show and would come back, and that's how we really had the fan base going. And still the fan base is still there. Believe it or not, it's crazy, but people are always asking us to come back out.
That's great. You know what's amazing too? It's like sometimes if like I'm coming off the street to see and I see guys in get-ups and having fun like that, it'd be like, are they real musicians? Do they have good musicianship? Are they bullshitting me with the antics, covering up their poor musicianship? But it's the opposite with you. You guys are musicians first.
Yeah, definitely. We kept up with the playing. We did some Mozart sonatas on the albums, and that was a big thing that people used to love. And so we did a little bit of everything.
So okay, boom, things stop dead, right? The guys, get into insurance. What'd you do? Well, I look at it this way, and I've had these conversations. Guys get to that point where they go, do I have the family life or do I have the nightlife? Yeah. If you can marry the two and work it out, great. But sometimes you hit that crossroad, right?
Yeah, I think more of it was like when we came off the road, we were in our early 30s at that point.
Okay.
So you're not a kid anymore, and you're going, what are you going to do? And that's my biggest thing. It was like, what am I going to do? You come off living that kind of rock star life of being on a tour bus and, people always want to be around you and doing radio shows and this and that. Sure. And then you're back home and you go, what now?
Right.
And literally, it was like, that was what now? I didn't know what the hell I was going to
Were
do.
you single at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
And so I don't even remember, but I just remember not knowing what to do. And then I started a landscaping business. I'll never forget, like, one of the first times that I was getting gas in the truck, to go out and, cut some lawns, and someone pulls up and goes, "Oh, man, Scatterbrain, what's up?" And it's like, man, like, you swallow your pride thing, like, oh, wow, I'm just that guy now cutting lawns, and I'm not playing in the band anymore. So it kind of sucked, but, you just kind of, I just kind of rolled with it and just did our thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about all music now.
Sure.
I mean, you've been doing this for over 10 years, right? At least.
22 about. I grew up in this town, across the street. So this music store has been here since the 70s. It was Stroud Music, turned to All Music in 82. I'm sorry, 84. And so when I was, like 19 at that point. So I came in, met the new store owner back then, and just, struck up a friendship with him. So when I was on the road, came to him and said, "Hey, take care of my stuff, set it up for gigs, whatever. And in turn, I'll thank you on the records." So on all my records, it says, "Thanks to All Music." It was really wacky. So I come back on the road, off the road. I'm got my businesses. Then he says, "Hey, do you ever think about maybe coming into the store and maybe be interested in, getting back into music?" And I'm like, "Nah, I really never thought about doing anything like that." But he made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and here I am, 22 years later. Yeah.
Tell me about what do you guys do here, really? Besides have great guitars and
Yeah,
instruments.
we do a little bit of everything. I would say it's like kind of four businesses in one.
Okay.
We do repairs, we do retail, we do lessons, and we do rentals. So basically, if you walk in, whether you're, a mom walking in with your kid and you need to rent a clarinet for school,
Mhm.
or, you get that clarinet and now you want some lessons to help you, do better in your class, to where, you can come in and buy a guitar, whether you're a beginner or a pro,
Right.
and we service everything too. So we have a great tech on hand. We have great techs for brass and woodwind, for guitar.
Right.
So we basically cover it all.
Okay.
The thing is, being a small mom and pop, you can't do everything.
Right.
Like a Sweetwater, we can't have everything that's out there. It's just impossible to fit or afford to do something like that. So we came up really, I mean, one of the things I did when I got here was to really push the guitar end of it. At one point, we had 1,000 guitars in the store. So we were really, really guitar heavy.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what we were known for, and pretty much continue to be known for. But we couldn't survive on just selling guitars. So we've always been that, all different phases of music in one place.
In doing my homework on you, the name popped out at me, Richie Blackmore. Tell me about that.
So Richie Blackmore's tech used to bring in all of his mandolins and whatever instruments he was using when he was doing like the Blackmore's nights. So we would set up all his stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And did the guy live locally or just
Yeah,
know
he's
about
local.
you?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. It just amazes me, how that kind of comes back. And
Yeah.
that's a big deal to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
That says, you know what, you guys know your shit,
Yeah.
And I remember bringing a guitar once into Sam Ash, and the guy behind the counter goes, "This is unplayable."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's why I suck.
Yeah. They have to be set up to be played for when people come in and want to try it out, because if they come in and they can't play it, they're not going to go, "Oh, I love the way this feels." So yeah, besides doing the work for the customer, we have to have the work even done in here. Even when we get a guitar from one of the manufacturers, half the times they're not set up to play.
Really?
Whether it's because it's just coming, out of a box and being shipped, and then, it's not set up, or because it's the weather. Once it gets here, it needs to be done. So we go over everything that comes in before it goes out.
Nice. It's like setting up the bicycle chain.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
And also one of the things we do, and I think that's what always kind of pisses me off when people come in and go, "I just bought this off the internet. Can you set it up for us?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I said, "I got that same guitar right there." And now you not only did you probably pay more money because you didn't come to me and let me give you a break. I go, "I'm going to charge you $100 to set that up. And if you bought it from me, it's free." So some people don't still get it. And I think the ease of the internet makes it a lot of lazy people.
Take a look in the description and please comment. Tell me your experience with buying crap online. and how that went for you. But also, we're going to have links to All Music, and you could check out their store virtually. We'll do some video around here so you get to see the new digs you really put together. This store is really, it's impressive. You walk in and you say, wow, it's really cool.
Yeah, it was, when we first walked in here, it was just an empty shell, really just cinder block.
Oh, wow.
But, when I saw the ceilings, I was like, man, just makes the whole thing feel so much bigger. Downstairs we would have maybe 8-foot ceilings and, everything was in the middle of the store. So it was very, very claustrophobic tight.
Right.
But we made the best out of it. We fit a lot of stuff down there. But when I came up here, the thing I did was, because of that, I built the 10-foot wall. So now we can go high with the guitars and keep the center of the store open. So now, you can breathe. And we have a window. We never had a window. We never saw the sunlight.
Happy blessings,
So,
right? Yeah, that's great. So now, when I walked into this store, the thing that really caught my eye was the stage where we're on right now. Now, you had mentioned that you had like 4 businesses in one,
Huh?
but you didn't mention the 5th business, which is public relations and festivals. Tell me about that. And we got to mention the other guy. What is his name?
Rick.
Rick.
Yes, my partner, Rick Eberly, yeah. So that's a separate business from All Music, but kind of,
There's
I
a
guess.
marriage in this.
Yeah, well, obviously music, part of it. But yeah, we started the company G&R Events back in 2017 when we were hired to start doing the Jones Beach Band Show.
Oh, wow.
And we were just doing, it was a summer gig, a 10-week thing. We were doing shows there 6 nights a week. And we were bringing everything, kids shows, line dancing, movie nights. So it was just basically entertainment besides the couple of nights of, tribute bands we would do. And so we did it for a couple of years. And then, with the connection in music for both of us, both being musicians, we would get calls from bands. Hey, can you get us this gig? So I would say, Rick, I think we got something here we should probably, start rolling with here. And so we did, and we started doing more stuff. And during COVID is when we kind of branched out of necessity. Beach Band Show shut down. The state wasn't doing anything.
Right.
And we didn't know what to do. And Eisenhower Park was doing all their summer concert series, and they were shut down. So we went to them and said, hey, we would like to bring you 10 shows, 10 Saturdays. You don't have to pay us nothing. Just provide us with all the sound, all the stuff,
Wow,
and we'll bring the bands. And they said, okay. So at that point, when we were getting ready for it, it was still like the separation. You had to be, in 6-foot boxes, and they were going to make all these lines through the field and all this crap. It was stupidity. And it was literally like a week before the shows were going to happen, everything was lifted. So now,
oh my God,
we were going to have to limit it to like 1,000 people and literally paint lines on the grass and keep everyone separated. So it opened up. We did our shows. It went great. So then we started saying, let's expand. So we started getting other stuff. And then we applied for the contract again with Eisenhower. And now we, have a 5-year contract with them, and we've been doing it, and we've been growing the business like that. We've been doing stuff outside of New York, like Daryl's House and places in West Virginia. Yeah. So we're getting a lot of the local bands, tribute bands, and some original bands out and about.
Well, let's talk about this stage. You're gonna do some things here too, right?
Yeah. So we already did one thing with a local radio station, a country station, The Wolf. We were open 3 days here, and they said, could we do this? And I said, yeah, let's do it. It's a great time to check it out. We did it. We had about 50 people, and we did it, and it was great. It sounded great. I was like flipping out, but I was thrilled, and they were thrilled, and everything went great. So then we had the grand opening. So I had people playing for the grand opening, and I don't know what happened, but maybe it's all the carpeting and whatever, but the sound in here really
worked out great.
So now we're planning, stuff for the
like record releases.
Yeah, record releases. I'm actually planning some shows. Actually some of the bands I work with come in, maybe have 100 people in here, do some shows. I'm thinking about doing the old midnight movie maybe once a month, put a screen and,
nice.
Show Song Remains the Same, different stuff like that to just make it more of not just a place to come in and get your strings or whatever, but you're thinking about us more than just a the guitar store.
Yeah, you know what it is, and it's kind of like what we do at the Long Island Sound. You're kind of building community.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing. And what I love about this idea is it's an intimate setting. So I'm talking to the artists that are out there that will check out the links and comment, of course. But it gives you an opportunity to be in an intimate setting, be around like-minded people, right? Music lovers, fans, stuff like that. And I tell you, if it's one thing that I've always had in my heart is I've always wondered, what's their story? How do they do? Why do they do this? That sort of thing. It'll give you that intimate atmosphere to continue to build your fan base locally. And
Yeah.
you know what? With networking, you never know where it's going to go, who's going to be that next person to hire you for, whether it's a private party or a festival or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it really, I mean, in the music community is really a small, tight-knit community, especially on Long Island.
Yep.
So you get to know everybody. If you don't know them, you know them through somebody else. And, that's a great way to network. And this is another opportunity for musicians to network at.
Well, I tell you, Guy, I'm really looking forward to spending more time here, interviewing more people
absolutely.
here. And I feel blessed that I've had the opportunity to meet you and talk to
Thanks,
you. Thanks,
man. I appreciate it. Can't wait to do some more stuff.
All right. Hey, until next time, everybody, as I say, be generous with your joy, keep your spirits high, and let the music take you on a journey. Be well, everyone.